Okay, in this episode, I'm going to talk to you about my Profit and Cashflow Mastery system. What's involved in this system? How do we actually use it? And it's a really unique system. I know this because I literally made it up myself, and it's a combination of my background in finance, my finance career of being an accountant, being a commercial CFO, but how I adapted those learnings and applied them in my own small businesses, how I boiled all that information down into just a handful of simple tools, which has actually helped me now scale 3 businesses from startup to 7 or even 8-figure plus. Hello and welcome to the Profit and Cashflow Mastery podcast. I'm your host, Gavin Smith from The Profit Analyst, and in this podcast, I'm going to be showing you how simple, easy, and more important, how practical numbers can actually be for you as a small business owner. I have a pretty extensive finance career and background, but more importantly and more relevant to you is I'm a small business owner myself. I've built multiple businesses from startups and turnarounds through to 7 and even 8-figure plus businesses. And what I've learned along that journey is how to make numbers really simple and easy and practical and how to use them to guide you in your business strategies. And ultimately, that's what I now love doing. I love teaching other business owners how to make the numbers simple and easy so they can gain real clarity about their numbers. I love showing them how to identify what numbers actually matter in your business. But more importantly, I show you how to use your numbers so that you can make better decisions, which ultimately leads to better profitability, better cash flow, and growing and scaling businesses. So let's dive into it. The system involves 4 key tools which we have, and these are the same 4 tools that I literally use week to week, month to month in my businesses. They're the same 4 tools I plug into everybody else's businesses who I work with, and the system is kind of built around these tools, or these tools are there to enable the system. So I'm just going to talk through them all one at a time. There's 4 different ones involved. So first of all, on a weekly basis, we have our cash flow forecaster. Now, the purpose of this tool is to keep us really on top of our cash. That's why we're checking in on it weekly. What it's doing, it's showing us our historical cash flow on a weekly basis, and it's projecting our cash flow 12 months into the future, but on a weekly basis, i.e. 52 weeks into the future. What we're doing here is we're able to keep on top of exactly what our cash balance is. We're able to see the highs and the lows of the weeks coming, and we're able to make really smart, proactive decisions around our cash flow, making sure we're keeping our business safe. So that's the first system. It's all about cash flow. The second tool here is our Visual Insights Report. And this is a tool which we check in on a monthly basis, and this does our P&L and our balance sheet. If you go back to one of my previous episodes where I'm talking about the finance ecosystem, there's 3 different types of numbers we need to be on top of the financials within your business. Those 3 different numbers are our P&L, all about profitability, our balance sheet, which is all about our financial position, and our cash flow, which is all about the money in or out of the bank. So the cash flow was the first tool. We're looking at that weekly. The Visual Insights Report, which we check in on a monthly basis, this covers our P&L and our balance sheet, the other 2 parts of those 3 numbers. And so the beauty of this tool number 2, is it keeps us on top of our financial position. We know exactly what our results are, and we know exactly how we're positioned financially, big picture, with the balance sheet. It helps us to have that really clear financial snapshot of what's going on. It displays all of the numbers visually in color-coded charts. I've talked about that previously, how important it is to be looking at your financials in color-coded charts. So much simpler and easier. And just like the cash flow forecast, it's a combination of looking at actual data and actual results, seeing how we've performed for this month, this quarter, this year to date financially. But it's also a series of forecast numbers as well. We've got forecast model numbers showing up in this. So whenever we're checking in on our P&Ls or balance sheets on a monthly basis or quarterly basis in this visual report, we're not only seeing how we've performed for the month, how we've been performing in the previous months, but we can see where are we heading based on the trends. What does our business look like for the next period, the coming months? And so the reason I do this is because, again, I've spoken about when it comes to numbers, you don't just want to be reactive and looking at history. You want to be proactive. You want to see where your business is heading so that you're making the great decisions to make sure those results happen. Or if where your business is heading doesn't look great, you're making better decisions to steer the business in the right direction. So those are tools number 1 and 2, the cash flow forecaster weekly, the Visual Insights Report on a monthly basis. The next tool that I have, and to be honest, my favorite tool, is the Profit Calculator. So the purpose of the Profit Calculator is to understand profitability within your business. It shows you what all the key business drivers are for your business, how they work together, so you can identify exactly how your business is currently making profit. But even better than that, it shows you what your true profit potential is for your business. It helps you see where the opportunities are. It helps you identify where you are now, where you would like to be, and you can clearly see what are the bottlenecks or the things we need to solve within our business to be able to get us to where we want to go to. Why I love this tool so much is because it takes my profit formula theory that I have and it puts it into a really simple format in a tool which anybody can use once I've trained you how to use it. And the real power power of this tool is that it always shows you what your next right move is in your business. As you're growing and scaling a business, your next right move is never the same thing. Sometimes it's people issues. Sometimes it's costings and pricing issues or getting your expenses down. Other times it's about investing into marketing or other activities that are going to grow and drive the business. It could be bottlenecks related to the size of your property or the location where you are, and we need to stretch ourselves to new places. And as you're growing and scaling in business, it's not a straight line. And what you need to focus on is not the same thing all the way up. It's this constant up and down. We talked about the peaks and valleys of scaling a business, but this tool, the Profit Calculator, helps you to always identify where you are right now within your scaling journey and what is the next right move for you. And it helps you to get really clear about what that bottleneck is or what that next decision is, how much is it going to cost you to solve it, and more importantly, what will your profit be on the other side of it. And this is really powerful, but because it gives you the confidence to make those decisions. It gets you being proactive and making the great decisions within your business faster. You're not just being reactive and trying to work it out on gut feel. You're actually seeing what you can do to accelerate your growth journey. If you're a business owner who is struggling to see results, or you're overwhelmed by the numbers side of your business, we can help. Book in a call with one of my team members using the link in the description, and let's get your business thriving without the overwhelm. So the Profit Calculator tool, at a minimum, I like to check in on that on a quarterly basis. For the businesses I'm involved in or that I own, I sit down with my business partners once a quarter and we check our numbers in the Profit Calculator. It always helps us to see what the next right moves are, but I also use it whenever I'm doing anything remotely strategic within the business. So right now, we're just hiring another coach within the Profit Analyst business. And again, we're just looking at the Profit Calculator tool and seeing, okay, this new coach coming in, her wage is going to cost X. We can compare that to where we are. What does it enable us to do in terms of growth? And it just gives us that confidence that yes, this is the right decision to be making. That's the Profit Calculator tool. And then the final tool here, tool number 4, this is looking big picture. This is having a 5-year forecast model. At a minimum for this one, it's an annual thing. To be honest, I probably check in on it every 6 months, every end of financial year and every end of calendar year. It's kind of whenever we're doing that big picture thinking. And just like the cash flow forecaster, just like the monthly report that I check in on, it's a combination of looking at our results, what we have done for the last couple of years, summarized, high level, visual, and projecting those forward and mapping out the next 5 years. And the real power in this tool is it's seeing the future. It's seeing the business that you're creating before you've done it. And you can see based on, what should I be focusing on right now, the things you've learned from the Profit Calculator, you can see if we focus on those results, what is my business going to look like over the next 5 years? That can be one of two things. It can show you that I'm putting in a lot of work and things aren't going to look great for the next 5 years. So you can have those hard questions. Do I want to do this? Can we resurrect it? What can we change here? Or it'll show you the opposite. And it'll show you, based on these right decisions, our business looks amazing for the next 5 years. And that can be incredibly motivating and empowering for you as a business owner when you can see how good things look over the next 5 years to really knuckle down and make the right decisions and drive your business in the right direction. So really powerful to see what the long-term implications are of the decisions you're making today. And so that rounds out the 4 key tools that I have as a part of my system. There's cash flow forecaster to keep on top of our cash flow weekly. There's a visual report to keep on top of our financial results and financial position on a monthly basis for P&L. There's the Profit Calculator, which we want to use at least quarterly to make sure we're always focusing on the right areas to grow and scale our business. What are the next right moves to increase our profitability? And then big picture, the 5-year forecaster. This helps us to see the long-term impacts of where we're going. Those 4 tools completed together really give you the complete picture of short-term decisions you're making day to day in your business, how results are tracking along this year, and what is the big picture about how our business is performing and where it's going. And as you can see, all of those tools have an emphasis or a focus on being proactive. Not only just looking at results for your business, but using that information to see where we're going so that you can make great decisions and actually use your numbers to really help you get to where you want to go much faster. All of these 4 tools are the 4 key tools which in my program, Profit and Cashflow Mastery, we set up, we customize them to your business, we input your numbers to them, we show you the results, the insights that they're showing you, they're yours to keep, and we set you up on how to use them and train you how to use them for yourself. But if you want one of these as a bit of a flavor of how they work or how simple they are, you can actually grab the Profit Calculator. We'll put a link for it in the description for this one, or you can just find it on our website as well. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Profit and Cashflow Mastery. If this episode helped you gain clarity with your numbers, then please make sure you give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. And if you want to stay connected, make sure you give us a follow on the socials at The Profit Analyst.